Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Mastering Midlife: How to Thrive When the World Asks the Most of You. Most of you have no idea that it took me 4 times to actually get that out of my mouth. I was doing a branding exercise with my friend Jen Dalton, who is a brilliant brand strategist, and you should absolutely look her up. Her company is Brand Mirror. She's working with me on shifting a lot of my branding to the Mastering Midlife brand. We were brainstorming, and she said, how to thrive when the world asks the most of you is great. It's a great tagline, but it's a little long. So we were brainstorming, and finally she came up with mastering midlife. Life shouldn't kill you. And I thought that was really good. That was pretty pithy and pretty focused, but it's a little harsh and a little negative for me. But it kind of makes sense. Life really shouldn't kill us. So today's episode is a Friday episode, which means I get to muse on things that happen to me, things that happen in the world, and things that I think. And you are my captive audience as long as you have pressed play. So I really appreciate that. And today I want to talk about the childhood traumas that run us. And I'm not talking about the big childhood traumas where we were beaten as a kid, or we were molested, or something happened to our family's finances, and now we always keep a certain amount of money in the bank to never ever have to go hungry again. Those things come out in the first therapy session or the first coaching session, and not that they can be easily dismissed, but at least we know what to do with those. I'm talking about the little things, the little decisions that we make when we're younger, that we bring into our adult lives. If you ever see the work of Joe Dispenza, if you ever do any work in any kind of consciousness training, what you start to learn is that the mind is not only a drunk monkey stung by a scorpion, which I love to share, but the mind is also, who we are, our personalities, and a lot of what we bring to the world are the beliefs, the experiences, the decisions, the choices we made that worked when we were 2 or 3 or 4 years old. The Enneagram, which I use with a lot of my clients, if you look that up, is another example of how our personalities have been built by what has happened to us, what decisions we made about what happened to us, and how we perceive what happened to us, and then how we perceive things as adults as they match those things from childhood. And I can't help, this is what I do for a living, so I can't help but walk past almost everybody in the world and kind of spot what's happening with them. People say when they talk to me, I tend to look into their souls. And it's not that I look into their souls, it's just I've met and talked to so many people that I know what makes humans tick, and we're not all that unique. It's just kind of doing a little exploration to find out where those decisions and those choices came from that are running us subconsciously. So that brings me to what happened this morning. I was on Twitter, and I have no business being on Twitter. I do not have the fortitude to be on Twitter. It is a very, very mean and vile place, and I mostly watch it for the puppy videos. I Pet That Dog and We Rate Dogs are my websites, are my Twitter, favorite Twitter things to follow. But I was following someone who's fairly funny, and he posts funny videos, and he posted a video of a young boy who was about to blow out his birthday candles. He blows out his birthday candles, and then the family tells him, and the dad tells him to take the candles off the cake. So he takes the candles off the cake, and a hand comes from behind him, and I'm assuming it was his dad, and slams him into the table. It takes his head. They meant to slam him into the cake as a joke, and they slammed him into the table, and his head hit the table with a big thud. And all the comments are, ha ha ha, America's funniest videos. That wasn't that funny. Isn't that great? And it's supposed to be a funny thing. And I commented on it that kid is going to have trust issues for the rest of his life. He won't even know what it's from. He may not, but he's going to have some trust issues. He'll never blow out a cake with anybody standing behind him ever again. I can promise you that. But I commented on it, and I wound up getting blocked. And I really don't think that the person who slammed his face into the cake had any malice whatsoever. I think they loved the guy and they were just having fun. But let's put this together. The kids having, when we take emotion and then an action, and then we make a decision about it all together, that becomes a belief that runs us for the rest of our lives. So think about it. It's his birthday. He's blowing out this beautiful chocolate cake, the candles on the cake, right? And he's just thrilled, and they're and his family are carefully saying, all right, now take the candles out of the cake, because they know what's going to happen. And as soon as he takes them out of nowhere, his head gets slammed against the table. And it was a thud. I don't know that the kid didn't have a concussion, but it was a thud. So now take that trauma to the head, the trauma to the body, the emotion, the fear, the surprise, and the trauma to the body. And then, in defense, we're going to make a decision about that. We're going to make a choice about that. As simple as, when I'm blowing out a candle, nobody ever stands behind me. Or when something good happens, something bad's going to happen. I don't know what that little kid put into that is his own personal soup, but he put something into it. And we all have that in our lives. Everybody I talk to, when we talk about things in business, and why they aren't making sales, or why they didn't close the sales, or why they didn't have a difficult conversation, or why they didn't do this, or why do they constantly do that, it all boils down to a coach saying, "What the hell's wrong with you? You dribble like a girl." Or someone else saying, telling a young girl that girls don't do math, or whatever it is from childhood. It's sometimes they're innocuous, but sometimes they're not. But the whole point for me of this whole conversation is that it's not new agey, and it's not navel gazing, and it's not um, being self-absorbed, to take a pen and paper and to just pay attention to, if there's behaviors that you don't like about yourself, find the root of them. If you're angry at people, if you're flying off the handle and your emotions are disproportionate to what's going on, chances are it has to do with something that happened in childhood, whether it's big or little. And ferreting those out and bringing them out into the open really can help release them, so that you can actually deal with things in real time, instead of being the 6-year-old or the 5-year-old in a 45-year-old body dealing with this stuff. There's lots of science for this. So what is my takeaway? What do I want you to take away from this? Pay attention. Really, the things that happen in your childhood uh, were traumatic. No, I'm not an advocate of being a victim. I'm not of being a sad sack and blaming everything. But on what happened to us, we can always change our story, but we can't change our story till we know our story. So pen and paper, always advocate for pen and paper. Be kind to yourself, be loving to yourself, forgive yourself. You are all inherently good. You are all inherently loving, and you are loved, and you are precious. And some of these things are just habits, just decisions, just conditioning, and we can work our way through those. I love you so much. Thank you really for listening to me and paying attention to me. And I appreciate every moment of it. Have a great rest of the day.